Hi guys. Okay, so today actually yesterday I finished reading Intruders by Hopkins. The way I came about reading this book was from watching the documentary Love and Saucers, and I made a video about the book of the Love and Saucers, but the documentary I rewatched it. I showed it to my parents and they thought it was wild, and it showed the guy reading the book Intruders, and that chapter 7, Other Women, Other Men, is the one that triggered like memories to come back to him, because he basically, trigger warning, he basically lost his virginity to an extraterrestrial being, a woman, when he was like in his teens or something like that, in the middle of a field. Long story, but he was reading Intruders, and like the whole story, just I've been drawn to reading it for a while now because I've seen that documentary like a year and a half ago, but I finally got the chance to read it and it was actually really, really good. It's not just about what happens at Copley Woods and the family who it happens to. Here's the book. Here's a version I got from Amazon. I know there's tons of different other versions. This one's a hardcover that I got. And I loved the pages, the page colors and everything. I didn't really like the tiny, tiny one that he had in the documentary. That's too small for me. I don't really like it like that. I like it to be like a full book size. But anyways, yeah, I finally was drawn to reading it. I mean, I finally prioritized purchasing the book, and I really, really liked it. It's not just about the family. He does bring up in the book a lot of other cases and a lot of other abductees with similar accounts to the main storyline, like the main people he's even started this whole case for. But they're all kind of connected. This book has a lot to deal with women who have been abducted and were impregnated with a ET fetus, and have so many accounts of waking up one day after being pregnant knowing that their baby's gone, but it's not through a miscarriage or whatever. It's obviously because the gray ETs took the fetus out, because the fetus, from what I've learned, the fetus of a gray cannot go to full term inside a human. So it'll be inside a human for a couple months, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 4 to 6 months. Maybe that's a stretch. Maybe even 6 months is too much. Maybe like 4 to 5 months at most, from what I've learned so far. And then they have to take the fetus out of the woman during another onboard visit, and then they let the remainder of the period of it to be born in like a tube with like this liquid that they put them in. I don't know how long they put them in the tube for. Like, I don't know if they are like that for the full like 9 months. I don't know, but they always come out more tiny, more frail, more thin, like paper thin literally, than normal human babies. Obviously they're more gray than they are human, but we already know that they always bring the mothers on board to give them love and give them emotion, because they cannot give them love and emotion like the humans can, which is one of the reasons why they are apparently, you learn in this book that one of the reasons why they are abductees that feel like guilt or like weird emotions like that, it's not, apparently sometimes it's not the abductees' emotions, it is the gray's emotions trying to communicate it is the gray trying to communicate their emotions to the human. They're obviously always being reported as being like robotic, emotionless, you know, like slave-like almost. And in this book, you get a lot of accounts of the women saying that the Greys were trying to telepathically communicate their own emotions to the human of how they feel about the situation. Anyways, so a lot of crazy things happen in this book. Let me just read something that I like a lot. This was so well written, I think, in my perspective. So Bud writes, "The truth that emerges from these answers is a simple one. Abductees are not believers in some religion of outer space. They are not seeking publicity or other rewards, and they are at heart confused and frightened by their own experiences, which they regard more as a profoundly unsettling problem in their lives than as any kind of advantage. These abductees are neither paranoid nor suffering from delusions of grandeur. They are honest people who have suffered traumatic experiences that they do not understand. A skeptic who knows next to nothing about the evidence once said to a friend of mine that people who take UFO abductions seriously are cultists. It's really nothing more than a cult." So I thought about that and appreciated his remark because it points up an extremely interesting fact. Cults, as for example the Reverend Moons or Father Divines or whatever, are all beliefs and no miracles. The UFO situation is the polar opposite. All miracles and no beliefs. The events happen, the landings take place, the soil is altered, people are taken, floated out of their homes or cars, incisions are made, samples are removed, UFOs have been photographed and tracked on radar, pilots and astronomers have seen them, and various government agencies have investigated these miraculous events. But what are the beliefs, the doctrines of this UFO cult? What is the faith of a typical abductee? I can't understand. It doesn't make logical sense to me, so I can't accept it. I want to think I dreamed it. This is what one of the abductees, Joyce Lloyd, said after her experience. In this strange topsy-turvy world, the skeptics, with their ideologically rigid ideas of what is and what is not possible, are the true believers. The abductees, the people who have actually had these frightening experiences, sound like the true baffled skeptics. Because this whole entire book, they show that like the abductees, or the whole time after these experiences, like they don't want to believe it, they can't believe it, it goes against all logic. They always question their reality, like there's no way that this actually happened to me. Like why would I make this up? If I were to make something up, it would be something much better. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't make up something that was terrifying and terrible. Yeah, I think that's all I was gonna read with that page. This video is actually not going to be very long. This is towards the end of the book. I want to describe the general pattern of these accounts. An individual, male or female, is first abducted as a child at a time possibly as early as the 3rd year. During that experience, a small incision is made in the child's body, apparently for sample taking purposes, and then the child is given some kind of physical examination. There will often follow a series of contacts or abductions extending through the years of puberty. In some cases, sperm samples will be taken from young males. I have one case in which this process began during the man's 13th year, and ova samples taken from young females. As we have seen in these cases, oh, I want to skip that. 199. What is the ultimate purpose of these abductions, these examinations and implants, these genetic attempts to produce hybrids, which have inevitably created emotional havoc among many innocent people? Do the UFO occupants want to lessen the distance between our race and theirs in order to land eventually and join us on this planet? And if so, would this be an operation conducted in the open, or in a more sinister, covert manner? Or do these aliens merely wish to enrich their own stock and then depart as mysteriously as they arrived, having achieved their goal and revivified their own endangered species? Or is there yet some other goal we have not even imagined, something unknowable at this point in our intellectual evolution? None of these questions presently have answers, just as no abductee can really understand and master his bizarre experience. As I said earlier, the situation is the polar opposite of a cult. We have all the mysterious miracles one could wish for, but no beliefs, no dogmas. So as far as we know, we have neither gods nor devils, neither ethics nor evil. The purpose and meaning of it all is as uncertain as ever. Trying to see which one I want to share with you. No, but one of the sightings during hypnosis, she recalled the lights, like the UFO, looking like a pinwheel. And I found that very interesting because I've never heard of... Sorry, that's the spine of the book making that sound. I've never heard a abductee saying that the UFO looked like a pinwheel. If you don't know what a pinwheel is, obviously Google it and then you can see that. But that is so strange. I've never heard of that before. And also, there was one occasion where this one guy, towards the end of the book, this one guy remembers being in his living room and he saw this like twice the size of like a basketball, he said. Of what, like a ball of white light, twice the size of a basketball, go quickly between all the rooms in his house or apartment and just like stand and just like float right outside of the door. And then like the next thing he knows, like it flew to where he was in the living room, and it scared him so much that he literally went to sleep. But then he woke up, like I guess right away after, and that when he woke up, he saw two gray beings standing right there in front of him. And then I think he passed out again. So there was this part that I really wanted to show you. Oh yeah, before I forget, also, lots of the girls in this book got pregnant at like such a young age, but not even that. Like when they went to the doctor to confirm that they were pregnant, the doctors told them that they were still a virgin. So I don't know if I've read that before in any of these books, but like how is that possible? They must have like this the author said that they must have like a device that's like thin enough in diameter or something that would still have them show up as virgins but can still impregnate them. And also at the same time, when they remove the fetus, the ETs, when they remove the fetus, there's no fetal tissue left in there, even though it's been proven by the doctors, by the urinalysis and all these other tests that they were pregnant. The doctor will, like one of the girls, the doctor literally told her like, oh, like this is weird, blah, blah, blah. And then he told her, you know what, maybe you should just forget about it. And I thought that was very weird. I was like, what do you mean forget about it? Like she was pregnant for like 4 months and then not, like she's not pregnant anymore, but it's not technically a miscarriage. There's like no fetal tissue, even though she was, obviously she was pregnant. Like I do believe that. But like the Grace took the fetus back. So it's like, I just found that to be a very weird response from the doctor. I don't know if that's like the ETs intervening with his like consciousness to say something like that, because that can happen. So I don't know what that was. There was, hold on. Okay, there is another one where yeah, so the main girl, Kathy, she has so many different experiences. They're very, very wild, and I think you guys will enjoy reading them because they're so wild. One of them, she has two kids, two little boys. One of the boys, from what I remember, basically like wakes up screaming, and then the younger boy somehow does not wake up to his brother screaming, even though the one that doesn't wake up is usually a very, very light sleeper, that he'll literally wake up to like a whisper. And so the little boy that woke up crying, which is the older brother that woke up crying, said something like, "Mommy, they want Tommy," or "Mommy, they want Tommy," something like that, because his name is Robbie. And Robbie told the mom, and then like the mom, I think they all went to Tommy's room after, and then I think that's when the Greys came in, and they like put everyone in suspended animation. Like they froze everyone. So the Greys came in, they froze everyone, and then I think everyone got abducted that day except for Robbie, because they only wanted Tommy, and then they wanted Kathy, which is the mom. So then Tommy wakes up in the morning screaming, and Kathy walks in, and there's blood everywhere, all over the walls, all over his mattress, and it's all coming from his nose. So they had put an implant in his nose, but I guess they broke something in his nasal cavity or something like that. But he had like a crazy nosebleed, and I don't even know how the blood got on the walls and the mattress, but I think they took him to the hospital like immediately. Another crazy part was where Kathy, yeah, I think it was Kathy, and then I think it was like two of her friends and some other adults, maybe their family members, I don't remember the details, but they were out in the woods, they were camping all together, and then they were on like this CB radio, and then these random like teenagers, I think Kathy was a teenager at the time, maybe, or like in her 20s, or yeah, something like that. Anyways, these guys were talking to them on the radio as well, out in the woods, and then they like somehow met in the together in that same place. Kathy still does not know how the guys found them, because it's like in the middle of the woods, blah blah blah. Anyways, long story short, the guys come into the camping house, like the cabin or whatever they're staying at, and there's 3 guys total. There's one main guy who's like the leader, I guess you could say. Apparently he resembled Kathy a lot. He was like the male version of her, and that the 2 other guys were acting like guards. They never really said anything until like the main leader like said anything. And then when they went inside the cabin, Kathy and her friend noticed that it was very, very late. She didn't know why everybody was still awake, but she said everybody was very weird acting, like they were all just standing there and like very quiet, almost like very like the way it was described to me in the book, it just seemed very like creepy, like very scary, like they were in a trance state, or like they were being controlled somehow, because everyone like that was there that actual day like got hypnotically regressed, or they got just to talk about it with the author, and everybody literally cannot remember any details about that night, which is very, very weird. We still didn't get I don't think there was any abduction or on-board examinations during that night. I don't know, but I think I do remember there being the UFO lights and like stuff like that. I think that's when they saw the pinwheel, actually, the pinwheel UFO. And then that's all I wanted to mention, to be honest. And then because there's actually so many little like details and like so many other stuff, so many different accounts that I'd rather you guys just read it yourself, because I don't want to do a disservice to the book of just telling you everything about it, you know. I'm just gonna leave it off with this. I like this paragraph from the book. It is commonly believed that the validity of the UFO abduction phenomenon itself is somehow inextricably linked with the technique of hypnosis. This false idea began, I believe, with the Betty and Barney Hill case, a situation in which hypnosis was necessary to the unlocking of the mystery. But so far, I have worked directly with 14 abductees who have fully recalled their abduction experiences normally without hypnosis. In the UFO literature, some of the best known abduction cases, the Hickson Parker case in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and the Travis Walton case in Snowflake, Arizona, for example, were also remembered naturally, without the use of hypnosis. Though hypnosis has proved to be useful in the majority of UFO abduction cases to help the subjects overcome what seems to be an externally imposed amnesia, there are many cases in which it has not been required. Hypnosis is simply one more investigative tool UFO researchers use to examine our most disturbing modern mystery. So I'm going to leave it at that. I would definitely buy this book if I were you. Oh, that's the reason I didn't get the other cover, because it has the drawing of the gray, but the gray in that cover is like so scary. So no, I was not obviously going to buy that, because no, that's too scary. So I had to get one that literally had nothing on the cover except like the field. But yes, so let me know what you guys think about this book. Please, please, please read it. It is so, so good. I love books like this where they have like the real accounts, and then not even just one story, like one family, but like the whole neighborhood. Like it literally connects to like so many other people. And it's just crazy how it's all connected. And just let me know what you guys think about it, and have a great day.